the member by saying that I am putting a text for recommittal, that this be taken to the schedule.
Yeah, I'll give you the mic, but two things here. It is the registration and regulation of the interpreters themselves. The rules to be set on how the interpreters have to operate. So yes, yes.
The mic. I am happy to be guided. I am happy to be guided on this. But I would like that we move an amendment, a further amendment to this. And if the drafters are here could give me a text, I would move an amendment or to recommit that we put the registration of interpreters as one, because it's one of the functions of the council. So it becomes a function of council. Then we do a schedule on what the requirements of because I can see registration, you see, the registration, all these kind, qualifications, application for registration, all these details can just be put together into a schedule. I don't know, I need probably to consult, but I would like to move that amendment so that we make progress. I don't know what the other, be guided.
Yes, Ngusia.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And to add my point on what Owen Byers proposed, I think it's very important to enumerate this function the way he has ordered, and I'm just starting to support what he has said. I think it will reorganize the whole clause, Chair, so I support.
Yes, Ndikiri.
And Mr. Chair, before you load me down, because before you load that, we have already passed that clause, because one great function that we can really build on today's council as a function is on research. As I stand here, the brother that I follow who is retired the other day is a sign expert. He retired as a deputy teacher of Kaga School for the Deaf. And he tells me through a text that we have a problem in the country because we don't know the kind of population that we are talking to or which we need to provide the service. And that's why I was trying to have an understanding, and I've spoken to Mary and Umi, that, and they referred me to the drafters, that the function of research can be inbuilt as the function of the council. And that's exactly what the deputy majority leader is trying to say, that we can really commit that clause so that we bring in that very important function of the council. And I totally agree with the deputy majority leader. It is a very important thing that we can do. But again, remember, you are making this law for posterity. We don't have to go back again and be asked the question by telecommunication services providers, what are we dealing with? Mr. Chair, I think it's good because we are agreeing this is a very important bill. The voices that we are brought in, and I thank Mary is here and my senior Oluochi are here, that we don't omit some functions which we feel are very important.
Yes, Millie.
Thank you. I'd want to request the deputy majority leader to listen to this. Mr. Speaker, I've heard what he's saying, but he's speaking to the issue of legislative elegance, not substance. And you are also speaking to legislative drafting style, philosophy, or preference. If you look at the Constitution of Kenya, there was a very big debate. There are people who are minimalists who prefer that we just put the principles and the values. But because of the history of what we've gone through in Kenya and what we know of Kenya, when we push things to regulations, they never come as you actually intended. So they are usually compromised. And so for me, it's not defective. If you look at even the National Land Commission and other bodies, the drafting is similar. In fact, I want to thank Honorable Rachel Nyamai for reminding me It's very similar. So it's really not defective. Yeah, it doesn't harm the bill. Of course, the traditional legislative style that we are used to is more the minimalist, where you go for principle and put things in regulations or in a schedule. But as I had indicated, the challenge you face with that, especially when you are talking about marginalized and minority groups, people don't understand their issues. So when you leave to regulations, you find a person who doesn't understand, and they don't have the advantage of us debating here, representing the entire country, debating here. You'll have 5 people with the biases doing their own thing, which will be totally different from what we intend. So I would want to encourage you that and even though I hear you very well, that we allow it to go as it is. It's not fatal. It's not defective.
The Honorable Mabona,
Yeah.
I'll give an opportunity also to our friend, our learned friend Oluoch. But before that, Mele Mabona, when you read the section 9, A, B, C, D, all the way I, it's not just registration. Probably the title here should have been part 4, registration and regulation, because the bulk of it is regulation. That you can do this, you can't do this, you can do this, you can't do this. It's not just, registration is a very straightforward thing. You have qualifications, the registering body itself, and the manner of registration. But here, it says a person who meets the requirements under this may apply. No, you see, you go on, and then it tells, as a person shall not provide. So it's regulations, it's the registration and regulation. But anyway, I would want to listen to Oluoch and then come back to you. Yes, this is the thing, but would you want to do the amendments now, or you want to pass it and then you come back for amendments?
That one, sorry, Chair, that's very simple. Doing further amendment by the mover, you just say that part 4 be further amended by providing in the title registration and regulation of sign language interpreters.
Yes.
And then we only provide that in writing and sign. UMI provide in writing and we sign. So I would,
Yes.
I can, as a co-sponsor, I can do that. That we move in the title of part 4 be further amended by providing registration and regulation of sign language interpreters.
I think that more or less satisfies your concerns. You raised a very pertinent thing,
Yes.
and I think it satisfies that.
Now, I think I want to, Mele Mabona is my senior in this house. And sometimes when she speaks, I listen. And I would like to, acknowledge her efficacy in law, and that. So I would like to say probably we adopt that.
Yes.
For now, and I also take advice from Oluoch. We can actually adopt it. But I still have my own misgivings. But for the purposes of the law, for the purpose of the law, let's proceed. Let's proceed. But I would like also to recommit the one 8B. I would like to recommit. I don't know whether you allow me at this level, whether legislatively. Later we will recommit 8B.
Yes, Honorable Oluoch.
Chair.
For 8B. Yeah, I do understand the transition that you mentioned, but what we're saying is that there is no, you see, the progressive, incremental manner in which law itself it comes into force is usually an administrative thing. For example, we have had the 2/3 thing in our constitution. And this constitution says shall. Shall means we must have it. But it's such an impossible thing that it takes time for these things to be actualized. You see what I mean? So I think, in my opinion, okay, yes, Oluoch.
I'm persuaded by what Honorable Millie has said.
Yes.
For one other reason, that, I'll give an example. I've moved an amendment for the Basic Education Act for alternative provisions of basic education schools in informal settlements. And this category have perpetually been discriminated because they were operating under some regulations, which under legal notice were never put into place. The effect of that was that there was no budgeting, no capitation, no CSC teachers. So it is possible that on an affirmative action like this, you have a very good bill, relegate the issues to regulations, which will never be implemented.
Yes.
So I'm persuaded that we let even the overprescription, so long as it is not defective in drafting,
Okay.
we go by Millie's. I propose.
Which I put. Yeah, would you want to, yes. Honorable Nyimwe.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
This is going to the committee.
Chair, I would like to agree with the. I first of all thank the majority leader because he has agreed that we proceed the way the Honorable Millie Odhiambo is suggesting, Odhiambo Mabona. Chair, it's better to over-legislate
Yes.
than to under-legislate.
Absolutely.
And especially on this matter that concerns the deaf and the blind. I think we would rather do the best that we can so that they are able to benefit from information sharing in this country. And Honorable Speaker, I've just looked at the whole write-up, and it concerns continuous learning, how much these people should be paid, how the register should be maintained, even the mannerisms. Honorable Chair, you remember there is a girl, a very pretty girl, who tried to interpret for us, or rather for the people who could not, for the deaf, in an event that was political. And the way she was swinging and like dancing, she was doing it in a way that you think that this should have been done earlier. Because I believe that this act, if this bill becomes an act, then it will prescribe how you do it. Because I think there is a way that you can try to do it and then you distract the people, such that instead of focusing on the message, they focus on you. So, Honorable Chair, I would like to say that this is too important to be left in the regulations. Let it be in the law, the way it is in the National Land Commission Act, the way it is in the one for engineers, it is also in the Act. So it is better we overdo than we underdo. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, I now put the question that new clauses 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, 9E, 9F, 9G, 9H, 9I, and 9J be read a second time. Honorable members, I now put the question that new clauses 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, 9F, 9E, 9F, 9G, 9H, 9I, and 9J be read a second time. Will as many as the opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clauses 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, 9E, 9F, 9G, 9H, 9I, and 9J be part of the bill. Without this amendment, yeah. Honorable members, I now put the question that the new clauses 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, 9E, 9F, 9G, 9H, 9I, and 9J be part of the bill. Will as many have said that question? Will as many have the opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New part 4.
How do we get this now? Honorable Member Millie, can you move the amendment? The title which you have already, has been approved, yeah. Which is registration and regulation. Just the title. Be amended. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the amendment of the new Part 4 be further amended by providing that by deleting it and
The title.
replacing with the title, by deleting and replacing with the registration and regulation of sign language interpreters.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the title be amended by deleting the current one and inserting, what is it? Registration and regulation of sign language interpreters. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 4, part 4, be amended, the title of part 4 be amended to read the registration and regulation of sign language interpreters. Will as many of the opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 16A, new clause 16B, new clause 16C, new clause 16D, and new clause 16E.
The movers, any of you can move the justification of the new clauses for the second reading.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clauses 16A, 16B, 16C, 16D, and 16E be now read a second time. This is to justify the sources of funds for the council.
Honorable members, I propose the question that new clauses 16A, 16B, 16C, 16D, and 16E be now read a second time. Honorable members, I now put the question that new clauses 16A, 16B, 16C, 16D, and 16E be now read a second time. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I propose the question that new clauses 16A, 16B, 16C, 16D, and 16E be part of the bill. Honorable members, I now put the question that new clauses 16A, 16B, 16C, 16D, and 16E be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New part 6, a proposal to insert the following heading immediately before clause 17, part 6, miscellaneous provisions.
Mover. Give her the mic. Give the honorable member the mic.
I beg to move that the bill be amended by inserting the following heading immediately before clause 17, part 6, miscellaneous provisions.
I now propose the question that the bill be amended by inserting the following heading immediately before clause 17, part 4, miscellaneous provisions. I now put the question that the bill be amended by inserting the following heading immediately before clause 17, part 6, miscellaneous provisions. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New schedule.
Mover, second reading for the new schedule. Where's the new schedule?
Honorable Chair, I propose that the new schedule be part of the bill.
No, be read a second time.
I propose that the new schedule be read a second time.
Okay, give the justification. Give the justification, Omolkair, why it should be read a second time, the new schedule. Why did you change it? the new schedule?
The new schedule gives us provisions for the conduct of business and the affairs of the council. It wasn't considered in the initial.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the new schedule be read a second time. Honorable members, I now put the question that the new schedule be read a second time. With the amendment of the opinion say aye.
Aye.
With the amendment of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I propose that the new schedule be part of the bill. Anybody who wants to contribute? Honorable members, I now put the... You want to contribute? Honorable members, I now put the question that the new schedule be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Honorable members, I propose that clause 2 be part of the bill. Amendment by somebody has an amendment. Umm Khair. For clause 2. You have an amendment. You have a proposed amendment. A insertion of expression in the opening statement immediately after the word acts and all those. You don't have that material with you. You did ask for an amendment.
Clause 2. I beg to move that the clause be amended as it appears on the order paper.
Huh?
Is it?
We're waiting for the justification. Honorable Umm Khair, have you got the order paper? Wait, you have the clause 2. You did seek an amendment for that and you gave the justification. You said insertion of an expression in the opening statement immediate after the word act, deletion and substitution, therefore, the definition of the term cabinet secretary, deletion and substitution, therefore, the definition of the term
Definition.
council, insertion of a new definition.
Yes.
Do you have it?
Yes, I do.
Give the justification for that.
I beg to move that the clause 2 be amended as it appears in the order paper. This is to justify and provide a definition of the term as used in the bill. The term and to give clarity.
I now propose that clause 2 be amended as it appears in the order paper. Yes.
Chair, I'm looking at the definition of the word cabinet secretary in the bill, the original bill. Cabinet secretary means the cabinet secretary responsible for matters relating to education. The new definition is we are substituting that with means the cabinet secretary for the time being responsible for matters relating to the persons with disabilities. Now,
Yes.
this is where we need to find a balance. This is about sign language. It's about language. Okay. Here, language is a subject matter within the purview of education. Although this education relates to the education of people with disability. But then the new definition we are giving for cabinet secretary is cabinet secretary for the time being responsible for matters relating to persons with disabilities. Now,
Which cabinet secretary?
we need to understand whether this is a bat, whether the bat is an animal or is a bird. And this is where we mess this bill. This is where we mess this, because currently we have a bill on disability. We have a bill on disability.
Under which ministry?
Which is actually under the ministry of those that are in charge of disability.
Which is which ministry?
Ministry that currently in charge of disability.
Is it gender?
Gender social protection. And that bill has provisions for sign language. It has provisions for sign language. And when now we bring in the issue of changing it from education to the ministry now under disability, whether we are doing either an over legislation or we are putting it in the wrong hands, in the wrong place. Because can the minister, for the time being in charge of disabilities,
Gender and social protection.
yes, do things in the Ministry of Education?
Social protection.
So I would have loved to see the committee report, and I would have also loved to see, were there any amendments from the committee? What did the committee say? Because this now, if you look at this bill and you look at the amendments that are here that my lady Omolher is pursuing, this bill completely obliterates this bill, makes it completely different from this bill. And this is a Senate bill. This is a Senate bill. Having come from Senate to here, we gain concurrence, we pass. Of course, we are making amendments, which is our duty and our job. But these amendments are actually more than the contents of the bill. And I am afraid, I am very afraid, are we doing the right thing? In this
The question is it more appropriate in the Ministry of Gender and Social Services or in education?
Is that we leave it under education. We do not change to ministry in charge of
Isn't education, Minister of Education already has hands
this
full?
is about language.
No, it's also disability.
Yes.
It's also disability.
It transcends many things. You guys, I don't know, we need to recommit the whole of this bill so that it is relooked at. Me,
Honorable Mele, from where I sit as a member of parliament for the DAB, I think the Minister of Education already has got his hands full. And the Minister of Gender and Social, what do you call safety or whatever, social protection. This is a societal matter, and I think it wouldn't be in the best interest of the people who are affected for this to be lumped with the Minister of Education, which is already a very big thing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, actually listening to Honorable Mzuri, not Honorable Mbaya, I'd want to say that I actually hear him, that we are talking about the issue of sign language. And as a language, it needs to have home in education. Because what we want is we want students taught from childhood to different levels. Where will that budget be situated? Will it be in education? Will it be in gender? When we situate it in gender, it becomes a disability issue. So it's actually a difficult thing. If we actually, the easier thing, it should be actually in two ministries. But the Ministry of Gender is already dealing with other components of disability. Social protection is dealing with issues of other aspects of disability. But because we want it to be revolutionary, to show that what we want is actually sign language as a language, it would be better if it's situated in education. So I would want to agree with the majority leader that perhaps Honorable Umi can drop Cabinet Secretary for...
You just dropped the amendment, that's all.
No, it's just because there are several. There are several, so she'll just drop the one on Cabinet Secretary.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, sometimes the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Yes. We have had situations where we have situated something in one ministry, and because it's experimental, it has not worked. Let's give it 3 years, 4 years under education. Yeah. If it's not working, Parliament is still here. We can still bring an amendment and put it in the proper, it's sort of like the way our women representatives have had a challenge with the issue of sanitary towels. Do we situate it in gender? Do we situate it in education? Because it's a cross-cutting issue. We want the girls to receive the pads, yet it's also a gender issue. So let's give it. I agree with the majority leader that we could try out education, and then later, if it doesn't work, we bring it back to
So you
social.
move an amendment right now of dropping the...
Yes, I would request my sister, Honorable Umi,
Yes.
to consider, to not recommit, because she's moving,
Yes.
she just drops. Yeah, she just.
Honorable Alwach?
Chair, it will be entirely on the discretion of the two co-sponsors to drop or not to drop. But my view is that sign language, which is the basis of this bill, is cross-cutting. It is an education matter, mainly affecting persons in school. But remember also, it affects people in workplace. We were just speaking about how we communicate in Parliament here. We were talking about how telecommunications stakeholders need to be able to ensure that people who are deaf and blind are able, and these deaf and blind people, they are not just in education. The practitioners and users of this bill, when implemented, by far supersede the confines of education. So my view is, if I were Umi, I would locate it in both. I would allow it to be under gender protection without necessarily removing it from education. Education would still be able to budget from it because the bill provides for obligations for persons who would be affected by this bill. But that is up to the mover and the sponsors.
The mover, Umul Khair?
Chair, I would be happy to drop the clause on cabinet so that we're able to leave it in education. I believe it's best if this particular bill stays in the Ministry of Education because we are looking at it from the argument of being a language bill and not a disability issue. If we confuse it with the Social Protection Ministry, then it will bring an overlap with the PWD Act that we just passed recently. So my request is that it remains in the Ministry of Education.
So you're dropping your proposed amendment for B?
For B, yes.
For B of clause 2, part B, yeah?
Yes.
No, only on the cabinet.
Clause
Only on the
2B.
cabinet
Only on
secretary,
the
yes.
cabinet secretary.
This
Okay,
is clause
fair
2,
enough.
clause 2B, yes.
Okay. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 2B be amended, be further amended as proposed by the honorable mover. Will Azmina to parents say aye? Aye. Will Azmina to parents say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now propose the question that clause. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 2 as amended, be part of the bill. Will Azmina have to parents say aye? Aye. Will Azmina have to parents say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
Honorable members, I now propose the question the honorable members, I now propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. Honorable members, I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. As many of the parents say aye. Aye. As many of the contrary parents say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many of the parents say aye? Will as many of the contrary parents say nay? The ayes have it. The mover to move reporting. The honorable mover to move reporting. Do you have a form which is going to assist you in?
Before we go into reporting,
Yes.
can I? Okay, I'll do the committee. Okay, thank you.
Yes, proceed.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Kenya Sign Language Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2023, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its considerations of the Kenyan Sign Language Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2023, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Call the speaker.
Honorable members, Madam Speaker.
Chairperson?
Madam Speaker, I beg to report to the Committee of the Whole House to consider the Kenya Sign Language Bill, Senate Bill number 9.
Wait until you get the mic, please.
Where is the mic? It's here.
Wait until you get the mic.
I have it.
Proceed.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the House has considered the Kenya Sign Language Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2023, and approved the same with amendments.
Mover of the motion? Muher? Honorable Muher?
Mover of the bill to move agreement. Al Khair.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Irene Mayaka to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Irene Mayaka?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second.
Thank you, honorable members. I now propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Yes, Majority Leader, Honorable Baya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the House be amended by inserting the word subject to recommittal of the following clauses, Honorable Speaker. That we commit the new Part 2, new Clause 8B, new Clause 16, new Part 4, new Schedule, new Clause 2C. And those parts, Speaker. And also would like to request the Honorable Ndikiri to second the motion. New Part 2, new Clause 8B, new Clause 16, new Part 4, new Schedule, new Clause 2C. And I would like to say that I have looked at the committee report. That's my justification. I have looked at the committee report, which I'm holding here. And I'm looking at the new amendments, especially the new parts that have been included, the new clauses that have been put into this. It totally changes the bill. And because it totally changes the bill, we have a duty as a parliament, when we have almost 80% of the bill having changed without even public participation on the same, we risk ridicule out there in court or any other place. But we need to relook at it. And because we have an opportunity, it is a Senate bill, we have an opportunity to sit down, relook at all these things, and realign them. Because if you look at this committee report, which Umulher sits in that committee, and where I sit, and I have looked at it, and I have seen that the committee itself has a lot of issues with the bill. And you can see that the committee report has things that are important we need to input. So I request that we agree but let me be seconded. Sir,
I would like to give a chance to seconder first. Member for Vuri.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I totally agree with the observation of the mover of the amendment. I second.
Honorable members, before anything else, I would like to propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report, subject to recommittal of the following clauses. New Part 2, new Clause 8B, new Clause 16, new Part 4, new Schedule, new Clause 2C. I can now encourage the point of order. I start with the leader, Honorable Millie Odhiambo Mabona.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I want to just tell the majority leader that what he is doing is not in good faith. We have been consulting back and forth and agreeing, and we have actually we had agreed to recommit one clause, 8B. Instead, he is actually coming up with the recommittals without even consultation. It's not in good faith. That is not actually how people operate in this House. But over and above that, Madam Speaker, you keep referring to a committee report, saying the committee didn't agree. We know how people legislate in this House. We were doing the Fisheries Amendment Bill yesterday. The committee has its own amendments. If the committee didn't agree, where is the committee? Let's start from there. We don't even know which committee. Is it the committee for education or is it the one for social protection? Which one is it? Where are the amendments? You cannot have members sitting here from morning. Some of us were actually rushing through traffic, listening online. We hardly slept. We have come in the morning to do our work. The committee is not here. And then you are telling us that you are disagreeing because the committee disagreed. Where is the committee? I would want to encourage members to disagree with your recommittals. It's in very bad faith. Chair, it is in very bad faith. Let members reject. And in any event, this is not fatal. You have agreed, there were two bills. One was sponsored by Crystal Asige and one by Umi. And I advised them that merge the bills so that you have one bill. So yes, it's emanated from Senate, but it's the same bill that Umi did. So it's not just a Senate bill, so that we cloud members because some people don't like Senate. Me, I love Senate and I love National Assembly because we all do legislation. So let us not cloud members. Honorable member, I would urge you, we still have mediation. If I were you, please correct what you have done and let us go to mediation for some of those issues when we have consulted. But this bill has been here for a long time. Where's the committee? Where are the amendments? It's not in good faith. It's not.
Leader, you have made your point. Yeah. No, you have a fresh point of order. You have a fresh. Yes. Go ahead, Wakil.
Honorable Speaker, and I want Honorable Bayer to listen. When you raise, I want Honorable Bayer to listen because he may need to respond. Honorable Speaker.
I'm not talking to the Honorable Bayer. You are addressing the House, so just continue.
Thank you. Speaker, when a member raises a question that the bill raises amendments that fundamentally change the character of the bill, that needs to be raised not at the committal stage when we have already called for the reporting. He needed to have raised a question for a determination, a substantive determination by the Speaker that this bill cannot proceed in the third reading because it raises fundamental changes that would change the character. So I think raising it at this point, I agree, is in bad faith. And secondly, Honorable Millie has said, it is open to mediation. If we have done things that the Senate disagrees with, that is the reason why we have mediation. I would like to urge you to drop your recommittals and allow us to conclude this bill.
Can I, Majority Leader, can you allow me to just give a few, then I come to you? Oh, you want to drop? Oh. Let me give a chance to the Honorable Rahim Dawood, member for Imenti North. Don't be too harsh to the Majority Leader.
No, thank you, thank you. Madam Speaker, the majority has mentioned that the Senate has given what the bill was, we have changed it, but that is what happens, because even my bill, which was here, went to the Senate. When it was amended, it was brought here. It's now in mediation. So what is the big deal about it? And the changes which the majority is saying, I do not think we need to take that into account. We go to mediation and sort it out. But being afraid that Senate will, what has Senate done and we change it, it doesn't make any sense to me. So majority withdraw.
The Honorable Irene Mayaka. The Honorable Majority Leader, the Honorable Owen Baya.
I want to say this, and I want to take you. I like Millie Odhiambo. If she had not been married by now, probably I would be. I like her. I like her. I like her very much.
For sure something is out of order. The Honorable Farah Maalim. The Honorable Farah Maalim. Order, CNN, order. Order, CNN. No, take your seat. The Honorable Farah is on his feet and he's on a point of order. Proceed. And he's your senior. 5 terms in this house is not a joke, CNN.
Honorable Speaker, you notice he is resorting to going into the emotional and sentimental, what do you call, other side things. And giving an impression that if you come along with me, I want to go and, he doesn't, does he know whether Millie is available is or not? So Honorable Oyambaya, just drop your recommittals and amendments. Drop the amendments and we proceed. If you love us so much, drop the amendments.
The Honorable CNN, before we go back to the Honorable Baya.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to ask whether it is good to sexually harass Millie. The remarks made by Owen Baya, you are sexually harassing Mrs. Millie, and I think he needs to withdraw them immediately. They are not parliamentary.
The Honorable Millie, you have been mentioned too many times. Not to
Thank
say
you,
a word.
thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the honorable members who are standing with me in supporting me when Honorable Baya is saying that if I was not yet married. And I know it is in goodwill, and I know Mr. Mabona is watching. Yes. But Mr. Speaker, when you reach the age where I am, when I'm seeing 60 yonder, it is approaching. Yeah? If a man actually looks at you and thinks you are very beautiful, it is encouraging. So don't be too hard on him. It's a very encouraging thing. Being in menopause is not an easy thing. He will not marry me, but he's encouraging me. He's not sexually harassing me, he's encouraging me. So, because it's on a light note, he's not harassing me. If it was on a serious note, he would have seen me fire, see fire. He would have got fire, see fire.
Yes. So, honorable members, canter and banter is allowed in this house. I believe that the Honorable Baya was just bringing some life into this debate. And now I can now seriously give you an opportunity. And interestingly, Millie doesn't mind. Millie doesn't mind what you said. And Millie, I must tell you that you look so good. Honorable Millie Odhiambo Mabona. You look good. You don't even look anything close to 60. So you are doing good.
Be on record that I would like to drop the recommittal so that we make progress. I also want to tell Millie, you know, petty jealousies from Farah, from CNN, will not discourage me. Will not discourage you. Petty jealousies. So we would like to drop the commitment because I am encouraged by the fact that this will go into mediation. And therefore, at mediation, we'll find a balance so that we pass good law. I think I come from the perspective that I would like us to pass good law. And I do not want us to go into mediation where we have too much to mediate. I think we need to have parameters of mediation that are, slim. But having said all that, I would like the attention of the, yes, she's being guided. She's being guided. I would like to withdraw and drop the commitments. Thank you very much.
Well, honorable members, you know it's not easy to legislate, and especially by young members like the Honorable Umuher, and also with the support of our senior member, the Honorable Mili. So, honorable members, bearing in mind that the majority leader has dropped the committal, I now put the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Kenya Sign Language Bill, Senate number 9 of 2023, be now read a third time. I also request Honorable Dawood to second.
Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I congratulate Honorable Umulkhair for taking this step, being a first-term member and a nominated member. I think she has done very well for where she's come with this Senate. She has assisted in moving this bill. And Madam Speaker, it's very important for us to set up this sign language bill because a lot of people suffer out there without a lot of things being done. So with this bill, I hope we can institutionalize the council, sign language council, so that we can go forward giving the PWDs their due. Thank you, and I second.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that the sign language, I'll take that again. I now propose the question, which is that the Kenya Sign Language Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2023, be now read a third time. Will as many as... I can see many people want to comment. Let me start with the Honorable Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to add my voice to this particular very important piece of legislation. But first of all, congratulate my fellow nominated Member of Parliament, Honorable Umi, for the fantastic job. I was following while she was actually going through the third reading with the help of our mentor, the Honorable Millie Mabona. Congratulations for this piece of legislation because the Kenya Sign Language is one of those things that has really been used. We see it on TV, we see it in public functions, we see various members of public who have gone through the lessons who actually do this very noble job, but they've never had a situation where they have a professional association with the kind of work that they do. And so for this particular bill, and even the fact that it will now even encourage and have even more Kenyans actually take interest in studying this particular course of being Kenya Sign Language professionals, and also just to encourage and have accessibility for the deaf people in our community to be able to have access to this so that they can be more prosperous and they can be more productive in the society. So, Honorable Speaker, once again, congratulations to Honorable Umi and Honorable Millie Mabona, and I support this bill. I thank you.
The Honorable Faramali.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I want to join my colleagues, and I want to commend the movers of this very, very good, well thought out bill. For the longest, people with many forms of disability in our country have not had the nation and Kenyans thinking about their welfare. 80% of the buildings in the country right now are not disability friendly. You can go to other parts of the world and you find that almost 100% is disability friendly. And I'm talking about public buildings. So this is going to go a long way, a very long way, in making sure that that very powerful sector of our society that has had the misfortune of living with some of these disabilities will be taken care of by the rest of us. So I congratulate the movers I also congratulate the majority leader here who has added a lot of value into the bill, and also encourage the Minister of Education in this case to create a specific dedicated department that has got its own separate vote that will be working on people with disability. And as Millie puts it, let us have a sign language interpreter every function there is. Any public function. If it's Madaraka Day, we have to have a sign language. If it's any national day, and in addition to it, as Parliament ourselves, let's lead the nation in that accommodation. I think even in our parliamentary proceedings, it would have been very good for somebody, the picture of somebody who is telling what Millie Odhiambo is saying. And people who cannot hear can watch exactly the proceedings and how you're talking out there. It's no longer like when me and her were in Parliament, more than a decade ago, and all the proceedings in Parliament used to be in the newspaper. So people who cannot hear would read the newspaper and see what she has said, because there was a whole caption on Parliament. It used to say, "Yesterday in Parliament." We don't have that these days. So it's important also for them to listen to parliamentarians as they deliberate on matters of national interest. So you can have somebody in our own national television here, the parliamentary press itself. You have somebody who is there and who is translating our contributions in sign language. So I think House, National Assembly, Senate, Parliament has to lead in this process. And let me tell you one thing. This might look like a very ambitious bill. This country is known for having extremely ambitious bills. We had the ban on smoking in public places. And everybody was wondering, how is it going to be enforced? And then I think over 90% of Kenyans don't smoke now. This is a country where you enjoy sitting in public places without having to worry about somebody smoking next to you. And then came the issue of the plastic bags. And when it came to the smoking, I remember Charity Ngili were in Parliament with her, did such a fantastic job as a minister for health that time. And today we can boast as a country. You go to other countries and you find it difficult even to walk in their streets because everybody's smoking. And I'm talking about some of them which are first world. Here we are leaders in that side. I mean, in that particular.
I know you are very passionate on this subject. But
yes,
you know
yes.
it is
Now let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Please limit your debate.
Yes, yes. I'm limiting it. Issue of that, even the constitution that says that we have to have a certain gender balance in our constitution, in the representations in Parliament, it's somewhere. We might not get it, but it is a good move in a sense, because we're able to bring in the other gender into the mainstream. That's why Emilia Mabona is doing what she's doing right now. The technicalities and the way to go about it, whether to constitutionalize it or not, is up for debate. But to have more women in Parliament is quite a very good thing. So thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the movers and everybody else who has contributed on this bill.
Thank you. We also thank you. You have also done a very good job as the chair in the third reading. The Honorable Millie, do you have an intervention or you have dropped?
No. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I just wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate Honorable Umi and Honorable Asige, who are the principal sponsors. And then, of course, Honorable Kamar was also a secondary sponsor in the Senate. It's a good bill, and it also shows that we are concerned and care for our people with who are I don't want to say disabled, but are differently abled. Madam Speaker, I have listened to what the majority leader has said, and I take my word seriously. We are going to meet after this, together with the sponsors, and find a way so that, because it's actually, I do understand even from where the primary sponsors are coming from, that on the one hand, we are focusing on the issue of language, but on the other, when you are dealing with the issue of sign language, it's very easy to cut across other areas. So we look at how we can actually harmonize, either through mediation, and even if mediation doesn't work, you know our standing orders gives us room for bringing back this bill and amending, including an overhaul within 6 months. Or with the special leave of the House, we can actually bring it before 6 months, but so long as we are agreed. So I think it's something that we can do and give the House a way forward so that we don't let our people with disabilities struggle and suffer because of our own defect. Otherwise, I congratulate Tumi. This was really wonderful, and keep it up. You make us proud. I've seen the young women who have come in this House, this 13th Parliament, who are nominated, are doing exceptionally well. And I want to say that I'm very proud. I'm very proud of you. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Baya.
I want to take this opportunity to thank Umi and Asige and all those people that have put together this bill. And I want to echo one of the things that Honorable Millie has said. You see, in this chamber, the younger legislators need to learn from veterans like Farah, like Umi, who has, there's no bill probably in this House that hasn't had the input of Millie Odhiambo. And legislation, being in Parliament is not just about representation and talking. We have a fundamental duty, legislation. And I want to say congratulations to Umi for actually taking that bit, that you can actually come with a bill, legislate, and move it forward and allow it to pass. I'm afraid sometimes that as we progress, the numbers of younger people who have come get diminished as we move to third reading. People love second reading. But when it comes to third reading, it's the old guards, myself, Millie, Farah, probably Muli, and young legislator like Mayaka, yes. Rindikiri is an old hag, doing very well. Actually, he sits here throughout third reading. And I think this is something that we need to teach young legislators. Let's stay in this House. Let's make laws. Let's put our brains into it. Let's have a bill having 120 amendments because everybody's thinking different so that we can enrich the legislation that is coming. But I want to thank the ladies. I don't want to call them women, the ladies. I want to thank the ladies. The men have disappeared, but the ladies have stayed. So I want to ask the men, and I think I would need to call a men's conference. I need to call a men's conference. I know that we cannot allow this parliament to be taken over by brilliant minds that we have from the women. Men have bigger minds, brilliant minds, and they need to come bring them here so that we can input in the legislation of this country. I congratulate and say I support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to thank the members who have come out to support this particular bill. I also want to appreciate the Kenya National Association for the Deaf for also taking part in the drafting and their contribution to this bill. My colleague, Senator Crystal Asige, who has been very supportive at the Senate, especially during the contributions and the passing of the bill, together with Senator Kamar. I also want to appreciate the stakeholders who took part in supporting this particular bill. Mr. Speaker, one of the dreams I had when I was nominated to this House is to bring a bill on Kenya Sign Language. I used to live with many, gone through the stages it has gone to, and we are here today. Mr. Speaker, I want to also inform the House that Kenya as a country will be among the 5 countries to have passed this bill. Other countries in Africa are yet to reach where we are today. South Africa recently passed Kenya Sign Language as part of its official language, Mr. Speaker. But Kenya in the 2010 Constitution recognized Sign Language as an official language. Today, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Kenya among the countries that will be having this bill if we pass this bill. So I urge the members, even as we go towards the end, please come out to support this bill, because we will not only be supporting the deaf people in our community, but we'll be putting this country on the map as among the countries that are the most progressive in deaf and disability issues.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Rindikiri, and then we will put the, Rindikiri,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
and don't take us a
I really would like to take this opportunity to thank the movers and the support system led by our senior, Mary Mabona. Mr. Speaker, as I stand here, I am the patron of the PWDs in Meru County, and I'm very proud to be part of this family. Mr. Speaker, this Friday, I'll be joining the teachers with disability of Meru County as they celebrate their formation of their association. Mr. Speaker, the immediate brother I follow is just retired, as I said earlier. He was a teacher at Kaga School of the Deaf from North Imenti. Mheshimiwa Laim knows him, and is very passionate on the ability of our people with special needs to communicate. So this bill has come in handy. Mr. Speaker, myself and the majority leader, we were not really trying to push for this amendment for the sake of it. We were looking for a law of posterity. And earlier conveying a message here that we need to hand part of the functions of the council as research, because they are handling other factors, because we don't know the potential of these people who require the services of interpretation. All in all, Mr. Speaker, I want to say this: there's always a step forward that set the pace for the future. And I want to thank the movers, because this being the initial step that we are taking towards ensuring that we have a formal recognition of the importance of the sign language and the people we are talking to. I really would like to take the exceptional congratulatory note to the committee, to the people involved in this, and we hope as we move forward, we will be able to iron out the small issues that has come up. We look forward that the Senate will also relook at it, and we really build this so that we don't find ourselves back here trying to bring those amendments. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the mover. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the Kenya Sign Language Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2023, be now read a third time. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
An act of parliament to give, a bill for an act of parliament to give effect to Article 7.3b of the Constitution on the promotion and development of the use of Kenya Sign Language, to give effect to Article 54(1)(d), to provide for the inclusion of sign language in education curriculum, to provide for the use of sign language in legal proceedings, and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, the Penal Code Amendment, Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2024, second reading, resumption of debate.
Anthony Ulwash, this was your own bill? Eh? Yes, the sponsor, yes. But I'm looking at any interest. Emilio Odhiambo is. Oh. Honorable members also are interested in contributing on this bill, which is the Penal Code Bill, Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill of, I don't see any names in here. Yeah,
Thank you.
Emilio Odhiambo, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do support the proposed amendment to the Penal Code by Honorable Anthony Oluoch. And Mr. Speaker, in supporting, I want to just say I'm very proud of Honorable Anthony. I've known Anthony for a long time, a very good friend of my brother Dan Harrison. They were in school together, they've studied law together. And when they were studying their law, they used to use my notes. So it's not only the women who have benefited. Sometimes it's good to show off. He even used to sleep at my place when they were studying. So I'm very proud that he's very focused at doing a very, very good job. And Mr. Speaker, one of the challenges that we have faced in dealing with the issue of suicide as a country is the fact that we criminalize the act of suicide, which is actually a disease. Mr. Speaker, it's also similar to how we deal with alcoholism or addiction, that you find somebody sitting down and trying to lecture a person who is an alcoholic about dealing with, being more responsible, Mr. Speaker. It's like telling a person who has cancer, you are giving them a lecture about how they should make sure they are well. A lot of people who commit suicide, not a lot, many actually, almost all, Mr. Speaker, from medical evidence, are people who are sick mentally. They are facing mental challenges, and what they need is support, not criminalization. And what we need is perhaps that they get mental support, Mr. Speaker. We should treat this as a medical condition. Mr. Speaker, when I lost my mother, which was very unexpected because I spoke to her in the night, and she died suddenly in the morning. One of those days, Mr. Speaker, I went through such a dark place that I actually told somebody that I understand how people talk about having mental challenges. And I told somebody that for the first time I understood the book of Psalms 23, where they say, though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death. And Mr. Speaker, when I lost my mom, I walked in the valley of the shadow of death. And I understood how people can get extremely depressed. And Mr. Speaker, this is one instance. Can you imagine there's a person who has lost their mother, who has lost a child, who has lost a sibling, who has lost a spouse? Mr. Speaker, what do you think that person is going through? And then we are talking also even of the country right now. Mr. Speaker, there are many times you find a person who has a degree, who has a master's, and is serving as a watchman. There's nothing wrong with being a watchman, just that they are not paid very well. I know a lot of us Kenyans who live here, many people who serve as security, but they are paid fairly well. But in Kenya, when you're employed as a watchman and you have a degree and a master's, Mr. Speaker, that can take somebody into depression. And you have situations where you see a mother and has her children, and she doesn't know what the children are going to eat. Maybe they have gone without food for days, Mr. Speaker. Now, when you find such a mother attempts to commit suicide, instead of seeking to help her, we criminalize and commit them to court. Mr. Speaker, I know that there are people who have been concerned that this goes against Islamic teaching and Christian teaching, because Islamic teaching and Christian teaching goes against taking of life. But a sick person is not a person who is knowledgeable. Even in Christianity, if you look at the book of Joshua and the book of Judges, there were cities that were set aside for people who had not intentionally committed murder as cities of refuge. Meaning there are people who by accident would commit murder. And a person who is mentally sick is one of those people. They don't have the mens rea, which also in law we recognize. Mens rea is the guilty mind. So when you have a sick person and we want to say that we need to criminalize them or punish them, I believe in Christianity, it doesn't go against Christian teaching to help that person. In Christianity, there was a city of refuge for such a person. And our city of refuge in modern times is actually psychiatrists and other professionals that can help. And I know that to a large degree, the Islamic faith is very similar to the Christian faith. The only departure, of course, is that in the Christianity, we say you don't go to God except through Jesus Christ. And in Islam, Jesus is seen as a prophet. But fundamentally, most of the things that we say we believe in are very similar. And so I'm sure if there is a city of refuge in Christianity, I suspect there must be a city of refuge even in Islam. And because there's that city of refuge, let us look at people who are depressed, who need help. We give them refuge that is given in the book of Joshua, that is given in the book of Judges, through medical intervention, not through punishment. And I therefore fully support the proposed amendment by Honorable Anthony Oluoch. And I want to encourage that maybe the challenge that we are facing as a country is how expensive the facilities for mental wellness are. I think I shared here in the house on the floor, I think 2 weeks ago, that I have a nephew who has challenges, mental challenges. And Mr. Speaker, every time he's admitted in hospital for less than a month, it's 1 million Kenya shillings. Mr. Speaker, how many people can afford 1 million Kenya shillings? We make this a very expensive affair. And then the facilities that are government-oriented are also stigmatized, that you can only be taken to Mathare, and Mathare is seen as a very stigmatizing institution. We need to provide institutions which are maybe called wellness or some other fancy name, so that when people go there, we don't stigmatize. The same way, if I have malaria, I'm not stigmatized for having malaria. A person who also has mental health should not be stigmatized for having mental health, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Makali John.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity for me to also contribute on this amendment to the Penal Code. Mr. Speaker, I must confess that as a member of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, when this amendment was submitted to us, I was thoroughly opposed to it, because I thought it was a vicious attack on Article 26 of our Constitution that guarantees the right to life. That article guarantees the right to life, and I thought by enacting the amendment, we will be technically, and from a bystander's view, be legalizing suicide. But after the appearance of the Honorable Member from Mathare, the Honorable Oluoch, and the other stakeholders, I met my Damascus moment, and I thought this is something which we need to support. Honorable Speaker, this clause has been in our penal code since 1930. It has served its purpose, and I tend to think we need to carry out a cleanup of the entire penal code so that we can remove some of these old clauses that really do not tally with the times. Honorable Speaker, a person who attempts to commit suicide is literally a mental patient within the definition of Section 2 of our Mental Health Act. This is a person who is going through difficult moments. This is a person who is suffering depression. This is a person who is suffering trauma. And I have looked at the intendment of this bill, and basically what it seeks is basically to acknowledge that individuals who attempt to take suicide are very often struggling with many health challenges, trauma, depression, and severe emotional distress. Do we need to literally punish up this person by penal sanctions, by, committing him to prison, or having him to pay a fine after taking him through a rigorous trial process? I do not think so, Honorable Speaker. And I will tend to think that at this particular moment in time, and has been rightly pointed out by the previous contributor to this particular motion that was ably moved by the Honorable Watch, this is a person who requires help. This is not a person who requires to be punished. This is a person who requires assistance. This is a person who requires empathy and not punishment. And therefore, it is critically important that we pass this particular amendment so that we can really be able to look into the circumstances that actually make this person to be depressed and think of taking away his life, his or her life, which is deemed sacred. Honorable Speaker, in the course of our engagements with stakeholders, Honorable Speaker, we were informed that this matter has also been taken to court, and the courts have had to pronounce themselves on it. Honorable Speaker, in the High Court Constitutional Petition number E045 of 2022, that was taken by the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights and two others for the Attorney General, the High Court considered this provision in the statute, and the High Court held that persons who attempt suicide are deemed to be suffering from a mental illness and lacked the necessary intention to commit the crime of attempted suicide. And said these are persons who are suffering a mental illness, and therefore that provision in the in the Penal Code, Section 226, is unconstitutional. So as we speak here, as we debate on this floor of the House, the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya, which also exercises delegated power of the people of Kenya, has pronounced itself on this particular provision and has held that this provision is unconstitutional. So what do we have to do as a House? We have also to align our statutes, because we are the law-making institution. We must align our laws with the Constitution and what the judiciary has proclaimed. Equally, Honorable Speaker, I asked myself, what was troubling me is that if we remove these particular provisions, then what happens? What happens to people who are suffering a lot of trauma? What happens to them? Honorable Speaker, I found solace in Article 43 of our Constitution that guarantees everybody, every Kenyan, good mental health and good health. So as a country, we need to work upon provisions to ensure that people who are suffering trauma, depression, and illnesses are taken care of. Honorable Speaker, I looked at the Mental Health Act, and Honorable Speaker, I found a provision in the Mental Health Act, and specifically Section 2, that can take charge of this particular provision. That act indicates a person with a mental illness to include a person diagnosed by a qualified mental health practitioner, which means we need actually to work up on our mental health facilities and to ensure that decriminalization turns to meaningful protection and care of people who have mental health. Section 2C of the Mental Act is very specific. County governments and national governments are obligated to develop the necessary physical and technological infrastructure for the care, rehabilitation, and provision of health services. So what are we saying here, Honorable Speaker? We need, as a House, and the county governments equally, need to make serious provision for rehabilitation of people who are depressed, people who are suffering mental illness. So they are part and parcel of this particular society. So, Honorable Speaker, I support this particular bill and urge that we pass it. But we need to move a step higher to ensure that in each of our 47 counties, we have places for rehabilitation, counseling, for people who have, depression, trauma, because people don't invite depression to themselves. They don't invite trauma to themselves. And these are our people, our Kenyans. And as I always point out, we live for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. So as a House, we need to allocate more resources towards the rehabilitation of people who are suffering mental health, and we ensure that almost all our health facilities have provisions to take charge of people who are suffering mental illness. With those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support and thank the Honorable Member for Mathare for bringing up this particular bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I'll be very brief, not to repeat what my colleagues have said. But from the onset, let me begin by saying I'm supporting these proposed amendments of the Penal Code by Honorable Anton, a member for Mathare, who has been my good friend. And also, I've interacted with him in many social settings, and he has been really championing on this proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, people who go through many disorders like mood disorders, anxiety disorders, personality disorder, or psychotic disorders, sometimes they can contemplate to commit suicide. And it is not their wish to take their lives. And that is why I am saying we don't need actually to criminalize the act. We need to come up with a solution of supporting them, and also looking at these people, we give them refuge through medical intervention. And it is very important, once we experience this kind of people, we give support rather than subjecting them to prisons and, of course, criminalizing them, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some of these circumstances that lead a person to contemplate committing suicide is the issue of long-term isolation, prolonged work stress, which we usually go through. Even I'm sure some of our members of parliament here, they are very stressed when they are going through, when they are waiting for the next elections. And many of them actually can go through hormonal fluctuations and trauma and stress. And that is why we are saying they might even end up contemplating committing suicide. And Mr. Speaker, instead of doing this, let us build in each country at least a facility for mental challenges so that we can handle many of these. Our society, if you walk in every town in your constituency, you will see these people going through these challenges, and I think it is high time we support these amendments for the sake, and even we will align it in our constitution so that we don't really heavily punish people who are innocent, Mr. Speaker. And without laboring too much on this, I fully support, congratulate Anton Oluoch for these wonderful amendments, and I fully support, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Ndikiri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand here to support this amendment on the penal code brought by our senior Honorable Oluoch. Mr. Speaker, suicide is becoming a killer factor in this country. I will specifically point out in my constituency, Mr. Speaker, we have seen a wave of suicide, particularly among the male people and the youth. And it's across the country. Why? Because of the environment that majority of these people are operating from. Statistically, Mr. Speaker, you notice that it has confirmed the cases where there are family conflicts are forcing some people to commit suicide. Mr. Speaker, the increasing influence of the peers and consumption of illicit substances, not by choice, but being forced by circumstances. Majority of these people are committing suicide. Mr. Speaker, you'll find that even the situation that we are observing in our learning institutions, Mr. Speaker, there's always something related that forces people to commit suicide and trying to also to kill other people. Mr. Speaker, I think it's that time we start dealing with preventive mechanisms of that forces people to commit suicide. I agree, Mr. Speaker, scientifically, there are some proven cases that if you have a lineage of people in your family of committing suicide, there's a possibility that somebody else within that family will commit suicide. But if it is a known case, then there could be a mechanism put in place so that when it happens, or they attempt to do so, it is known that they are doing this because of natural inherited situations. But these people are not criminals. By your standards, people who commit suicide, they are not criminals. So subjecting them to severe penalties on like those other people who are committed crime is not a good thing. And I think the penal code that we are operating with is an old one, just like it has been pointed out. I think we need to move away from that and start now dealing with a situation where these people will be given other form of rehabilitation. Because I'm sure, and I have seen these cases, suicidal cases, people coming up and repenting as to why they did that. And when somebody has done that, then we should not be condemned. So what I'm saying is this, Mr. Speaker. These are our brothers, these are our sisters. And some of them can be rehabilitated. And that's why we are saying that we need working rehabilitation centers equipped with adequate medical facilities that will get these people back to us. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I think we need also to ensure that we have various programs, particularly focusing on our youth, the boy-child initiatives, so that they'll be able not to take an option of life, taking their lives, and they go to another level of confidence building. Because majority of these people who commit suicide, there is a certain level of inferiority, which has been perpetuated by various factors. So, Mr. Speaker, this amendment comes handy, and I want to thank Oluoch. Oluoch comes from Madale, and that's why we have Madale Medical Hospital. I think because of the experiences that has gone through, because he is the one. So he has a lot of experience, and that experience, I think, has caused him to really to come up with this in an induced development that has caused Honorable Oluoch to come up with this amendment, and we really support. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a nice bill, and we really need to really encourage it. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Nyando.
I thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. And on the same breath, allow me to support this bill as advanced by my brother, Honourable Anthony Oluoch. Honourable Speaker, this bill is timely. Timely to the effect that we have so many people languishing either in jails or subjected to very punitive measures by our courts of law as a result of this section 266 of our penal code, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, for one to have attempted suicide, it must be having a very direct link with a mental disposition. Honorable Speaker, life is sacrosanct. And to the level that somebody as pure as life is and of great value, to have thought through to take that life out of his body, there must be something tragically wrong. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore most important that we treat this, any suicidal attempt, as an affront to not just our lives, but a mental issue that calls for greater introspection that would lead into medical attention, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, coming at a time when organizations that have been consistently drawing a lot of their funding from the United States are now cutting back because the government of America is not willing to fund even on psychotherapy issues of people undergoing medical psychosocial issues, Honorable Speaker. Is therefore something that we must collectively as a House truly relook into, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, once these people will be subjected to psychosocial and psychotherapy medication, Honorable Speaker, you may realize at the end of the day that indeed issues that probably propelled one to think along the lines of suicide, Honorable Speaker, are not as so stringent as to warrant death. If people who have mental issues can be taken to hospitals such as Madari, where the mover of, where the sponsor of this bill represents, Honorable Speaker, can be taken through medication.
I want to recognize the presence of students from Kabule Sobet Primary School, Sotik Constituency, Bomet, and students from Kiserian Adventist School, Kajiado West, Kajiado. I'll come back to you. Yeah. And give an opportunity to the gracious lady here to give words of encouragement to the students from those two schools. Kapole Sobet Primary School and Kiserian Adventist School. Give them words of encouragement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to encourage the lovely students who have visited us today. My word of encouragement to you is that first, put God first in everything that you do. Commit all your plans to Him and you will succeed. The second thing is generosity. Always share your wisdom with each other. If you're good in maths, help the person who is not good in maths. The third thing I would want to tell you is always be grateful for the opportunity. Many students would want to be in school, but they're not in school. You have been given that opportunity. Respect your parents, listen to your teachers, and above all, work very, very hard. Finally, observe something that we call growth. Every day before you sleep, ask yourself, have you learned a new thing? And if you've not learned something new, kindly make sure you open your dictionary and learn something new from that, from whatever you for that day to be marked as something new that you've learned. Finally, I would want to tell you, if you want to become a lawyer, an engineer, a pilot, whatever you want to become, start acting like them. Sleep like a lawyer, eat like a lawyer, talk like a lawyer. And my final question to you would be, is there a lawyer who plays PlayStation the whole day? Is there a lawyer who sleeps the whole day? Is there a lawyer who watches movies the whole day? Thank you so much. God bless you. And we look forward to seeing you successful in the future. Thank you.
Daud, you want to congratulate the students? You want to contribute? In addition to that is also another school called Namgoi Mixed Day School, Chesumei, Nandi. The students, the young men and women are in the speakers gallery. And I want the Honorable Member for West Mugirangu to say words of wisdom to these students again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to join you and the entire House in welcoming our learners to the August House and assure them that they are at the right place and learning from the best house in the Commonwealth. And I want to add what my sister has said. When you are in school, learners, this is the time you define yourself, you define your future, and you are guaranteed both yourself and the family you belong to of your career pathway. We have seen a tremendous transformation in the education system, which is now inculcating skills in you that will make you total men and total women when you start your career paths. Jitume and make sure that you excel in whatever you undertake. Please, while in school, learn from your teachers, but more importantly also learn from each other. Be your brother's keeper, be your sister's keeper. Do not do that will hurt God and the law. And in particular, I want to encourage you that you cannot resort to taking your life, because you are in the house when we are discussing an amendment that takes away the criminality from those who attempt to kill themselves. Never ever harm yourself or anybody. Never harm any property in the Republic, because the law will catch up with you. We wish you all the best. Journey mercies when you go home, and the teachers who have brought our learners here, keep bringing them, and we will always encourage them to be lawyers, to be engineers, to be doctors, to be teachers, and to be speakers of the House like Honorable Farah Maalim, who has welcomed you. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chemetian, you're the only one who is in the chapters right now from Rift Valley. And two of the schools are from Rift Valley. Proceed. You're also from Rift Valley?
Yes.
Great. She has done that. She has already given her piece.
But let me just put across a word.
Not just very flowery.
Thank you.
I can see the future presidents of this country. I can see the future senators, speakers, generals, ladies who are going to become ambassadors to Saudi Arabia with hijabi. and I can see a lot of potential up there. So give them
Very
all
true.
the words of wisdom and encouragement.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to say to all the students in the House today that success is very intentional. Whatever thing you put into your mind, whatever thing you wish, and everything that you do today reflects your life tomorrow. The world will not judge you because of your best grades, but they will judge you according to your attitudes and your hard work. Listen carefully to your teachers, respect your parents, and learn that the society belongs to everyone without prejudice of tribal, gender, and you will always be among the best people in this universe. Otherwise, I want to say, while you are in school, as long as you are in uniform, there will be a day that you will wake up in the morning and you will not be putting that on that uniform, because young or youthfulness is a transient. Make use of this time, work so hard, and you will always be paid. And hard work always pay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Character is everything, yeah?
Character, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now I'll call on the MP for Nyando to finish his contribution.
I thank you once again, Honorable Speaker, and on the same breath, I also want to encourage our young children to remain focused. Discipline is everything, above all, Honorable Speaker. Just their same age, there are now students who are facing murder charges, Honorable Speaker, because they lit fires into their dormitory at Utumishi Academy, Honorable Speaker. Young children, if found guilty and culpable, will stay in prison for their entire life because of a small decision, a wrong decision that they took, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, every student, those present here and those outside, before you act, think, and think deeply. Do not go by the spur of the moment, you know, what they would call the group thinking, the group mentality, but do the right thing. Honorable Speaker, taking a tangent from where I left, there are people who suffer mental illnesses and are taken to hospitals and they heal. They become normal, Honorable Speaker. A few years ago, I took one of my relatives who was suffering mental illness to Kisumu District Hospital, Honorable Speaker. And after 1 week, he had improved. He was very consistent in his behavior and became normal. And I was asking the doctors, what the problem then happens when you have many people either walking naked or are collecting garbage on the streets because of mental illnesses. And the doctor told me that because people fall ill and it takes forever to be taken to hospital, some of them are still being taken to witchcraft, Honorable Speaker. Some of them are taken to some cultish religious groupings with indoctrinated membership, Honorable Speaker. So that span of wasting time, strengthens the mental disorder. And that is why then it becomes quite irreversible, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, what my brother, Honorable Watch, is coming up with is timely. We do not need to condemn these people without giving them a second chance at medical intervention, Honorable Speaker. And if that is going to happen, we are going to release many from our jails. We are going to have many who would have otherwise languished their entire life behind cells, Honorable Speaker, and give them a productive chance and produce to our society, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I support this bill, and I hope that we will also infuse a category where these people who will be subjected to medical help will also be funded, so that you do not have somebody who wants to take out his life and is still required to go look for money to have that medical intervention, Honorable Speaker. I thank you for the opportunity.
Paul Daoud Rahim, followed by Honorable Mishimboko.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to support this bill by Honorable Oloch. I spoke to him earlier, saying suicide in Islam is strictly prohibited. Honorable Speaker, in Islam, Surah Al-Nisa 4:29 says that you do not take your life because it says, and I will quote, and do not kill yourselves. That's what Surah Al-Nisa says. Allah is without doubt most merciful to you. The same is said again in Surah Al-Baqarah, where it says that your life is not for you, it is for the Lord. Mr. Speaker, suicide is not just suicide by its own. It goes, the Islamic scholars have now come up and said it is a mental health issue. And when you are not in control, because suicide, there are many factors which influence suicide, Honorable Speaker, such as biological, social, or even environmental. And depression is one of the main reasons contributing to psychiatric causes, and that I think it's about 700,000 adolescents from 19 to 29 who lose their lives because of suicide. Mr. Speaker, the suicide rates are surprisingly higher in some of Muslim countries, like Nigeria and other few countries. They are higher than the global average. So, Mr. Speaker, mental illness like depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder are more likely to rise among people affected by conflict and displacement, limited access to water, shelter, challenges such as unemployment and immigration. Mr. Speaker, when we talk about mental illness, we should even think about people who are facing life-threatening diseases, euthanasia. I want to ask Honorable Oloch to see if we can put the definition of euthanasia or assisted dying. Because, Mr. Speaker, there are few countries who have passed the laws that allow euthanasia, which is medically certified, that people who are suffering from illnesses which they cannot be treated, and they're dying in a way which is very, very difficult for the family and for themselves. So they get medically assisted, but it is criminalized in a lot of societies. Only a few countries have approved it. But I would want Honorable Oloch to see if we can include the suicide, which he has mentioned, the legalization. We are not saying we want to encourage people to commit suicide, but we have to be ahead and support our people, because otherwise there is a lot of issues with mental health in this country, and if you're not having suicidal thoughts, I don't know what you will do, because things are tough as it is. We need to have institutions established where we can talk, because in Islam it does not allow you, but some of the countries, because of religious beliefs, people will not commit suicide because of the religious beliefs, but they suffer in silence, Mr. Speaker. And we need to get that, maybe an institute, or have mental health clinics more often, so that the people who do think about committing suicide, they will reduce. Mr. Speaker, I'm glad the bill by Honorable Oloch has been passed by the Committee of Legal. Mr. Speaker, I tried to bring my bill on penal code, change of a penal code, where I said a woman who is pregnant or has a child of less than 5 years should not go for custodial sentence. But then I was told it was discriminatory against men. When I asked, do men give birth? And there was no question that men cannot give birth, but it was dropped. But I'm glad that the Committee on Legal agreed to this one, because it goes against the tenets of the faiths which are in Kenya, the big faiths, which is the Christianity and the Muslim. But now we have to, because there is a study which has been done in Egypt. The Islamic scholars have said a person who does not have control over themselves, then it is not illegal, it's a sin, but not kufr. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not pray during his time, did not pray the janaza salat for people who had committed suicide, but he did not refuse the others not to pray for somebody who has passed away for janaza. So that means he left it that at the end of time, Allah will make the decision whether this person will be thrown into the fires of hell. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I congratulate Honorable Oloch, and I hope he can bring euthanasia as well in the bill if it is possible. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mheshimiwa Mishimboko.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi pia niweze kumpongeza Mheshimiwa Oloch kwa kuzungumzia mabadiliko ya mswada huu ambao kwa Kiingereza unaitwa Penal Code. Na niweze kusema mswada huu kwanza unaangalia kuweza kuhakikisha ya kwamba maamuzi.
Point of order, Konai. You want to speak on the issue? Okay. I thought you were on a point of order. Endelea Mheshimiwa Mishimboko.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Nilikuwa nafikiria atakwambia tueleze penal code kwa Kiswahili. Lakini ndio hivyo sasa akaamua yeye mwenyewe pia hajui pengine. Aendelee basi.
Niweze kusema ya kwamba kwa hakika mabadiliko haya yameenda haswa hususwa na kwa sababu ya Mahakama Kuu ilivyoamua ya kwamba kifungu 226 hakiko sawa na katiba yetu ya Kenya. Na haswa ukiangalia katika katiba yetu kuna kifungu 27, kifungu 28 ambazo vifungu hivi vyote vimezungumzia usawa na vimezungumzia kwamba mtu asiweze kudhulumiwa, kimezungumzia pia kuna haki ya binadamu, na katiba pia imezungumzia haki ya kuishi, haki ya maisha. Na tunaona ya kwamba watu hawa ambao wanajaribu kujitoa uhai, kwanza huwa akili zao zimetoka katika kuwa akili timamu na zimeingia katika akili ambazo zimekuwa na tofauti ama zimekuwa na wasiwasi. Na ambapo iwapo mtu ambaye amekuwa na akili ambazo zimeingia tofauti na kuweza kutaka kujitoa uhai, alafu mtu yule aweze kuhukumiwa kwa miaka 2 na kupelekwa katika jela, inakuwa ni jambo gumu sana. Kwa mfano kule kwangu Likoni kulitokea kisa kama hicho. Mtu alitaka kujitoa uhai, akaweza kushikwa na akapelekwa gerezani. Lakini alipokuwa kule gerezani, kwa sababu akili zake kidogo zilikuwa zimefyatuka ama zimekuwa na itilafu, aliweza kukaa na kujiua akiwa kule gerezani. Kwa hivyo basi ni kumaanisha ya kwamba badala ya kwamba tungekuwa tumemsaidia mtu kama yule kuweza kumpatia mawaidha na kuweza kumpatia njia ambazo pengine ile misongamano ya mawazo machafu katika akili zake imeweza kupungua na akaweza kubadilisha mawazo ya kutaka kujitoa uhai, sisi tunampeleka gerezani, tunamuongezea mchanganyiko wa mawazo mengine, mawazo magumu, na anaweza kujitoa uhai. Vile vile pia tukiangalia katika tume yetu ambayo inasimamia haki za binadamu, wamezungumzia ya kwamba, na walikuja katika komiti kule seneti na wakazungumzia ya kwamba asilimia kubwa sana ya watu ambao wanajaribu kujitoa uhai huwa wametoka katika akili zao timamu na wameingia katika akili ambazo zimekuwa na itilafu, ndiposa wanaweza kufanya jambo kama hilo. Na wakazungumzia ya kwamba watu kama hawa, badala ya kwamba sisi tuwachukue na tuwapeleke gerezani, tunatakikana tuwapatie mambo ya kuzungumzia elimu ya kiakili na kuweza kuwapatia madawa ama tiba ambayo itawabadilisha msongamano ule wa mawazo machafu na waweze kuwa na mawazo mazuri, ndiposa waache kufanya kitendo kama kile cha kuweza kujitoa uhai. Vile vile tukiingilia shirika la kiulimwengu lile ambalo linaitwa WHO, shirika la kiulimwengu la kuangalia mambo ya afya, limesisitiza ya kwamba tukiweza kuwafanya hawa watu ambao wanataka kujitoa uhai kama wahalifu, inazidisha sana uwezekano wa watu wengi kutaka kujitoa uhai. Na kivyengine ni kwamba watu kama hawa tunatakikana tuwapeleke katika tiba za kuzungumzia mambo ya afya ya kiakili na kuweza pia kuwazungumzia sana na kuweza kuwanusuru katika jambo kama hili. Tukiangalia katika taifa letu la Kenya, tunaona visa hivi vimekuwa vingi sana, haswa wakati tunaona kumekuwa na mambo ya madawa ya kulevya kwa wingi sana. Tukiangalia zile tunaita, watu kule mtaani wanasema brown sugar, wengine wanakuambia ganja na miadarati mingi sana. Na baada ya kuwa na hii miadarati mingi sana, ndio tumeona visa kama hivi vimekuwa mingi. Na je, tuangalie hii miadarati, mtu anapotumia akili yake inakuwa timamu ama akili yake inakuwa na tofauti? Na jibu ni kwamba akili huwa inakuwa na tofauti na anakuwa si yule mtu wa kawaida ama ile akili yake ya kawaida. Na ndiposa anaweza
nidhamu. Mheshimiwa Mishimboko, umebakiza dakika 5 wakati hoja hii itakuwa kwenye bunge tena. Wewe uko na dakika zako 5. Honorable members, on the time being 1:01 p.m. This House stands adjourned until Wednesday, the 24th of June, which is today, the year 2026, at 2:30 p.m.